All right. All right, time to get rolling here. Got some work to put in on this Sunday afternoon. All right, so what I'm doing today, what I've been doing is working on the level selection and progression system from the world map. So making some good progress there. Let me see where I left off on this. Run a preview. It's going kind of slow today. All right, click on the world map. You have one level available here. So you click on that, you go into the scene. And all I'm gonna do right now for this quick test is just click on 3 waves, get them to all spawn through. And I think there's a bug. If I click the last wave, it will auto-complete very quickly, so I need to fix that. But it did go ahead and open up the next 2 levels here. So if I click on the bottom one, I get this level. And I think, so again, let me run this through, let the waves come through. All right, that one completed. Now 2 more levels opened up. That's a blank one. So let me think. In fact, let me pull up my Trello board. I'm kind of tracking a few bugs here that I need to address. So we've got there's a beacon light spawning at top, basically 0, 0, top left of world map. Hey Code, welcome back, dude. Hope you enjoyed your trip, and I hope you got some rest now that you're back. Hope you can get some recovery. The family is doing pretty well. There's a little bit of a bug going around, so we're working through that. But generally, spirits are pretty good over here. Appreciate you asking. So there was another bug where, let's see, the custom tower select object appears on main menu, but not on levels. And I think I know the problem there too, but let me go and put that on here for tracking. And then there was one more bug, which I'm going to actually work on right now, which is levels complete as soon as last wave called. Save. Yeah, you did miss 2 streams. It feels like you've been gone forever. Yeah, lots happened, but I think you saw the I finally got the Steam page coming soon page live, so I'm excited about that. And I'm still gunning for a playable demo in September, mid-September, so I feel like I'm in the middle of a game jam right now, like a month game jam. A 3-week jam. Okay. I appreciate it. Obviously, you're going to be getting a key. You know, you're one of my playtesters and all that, but the more wish lists, the better for the algorithm. So, thank you. Did you get a nice tan? Are you all tanned up now? Yeah, I could put it on the GDevelop Discord. I'm low-key, I'm kind of waiting until I do a couple of things, which should be done within the week. I want to get the gameplay trailer on the Steam page, because right now it's there. I've got the screenshots, but I don't have a trailer, which is pretty key. Because, especially for tower defense, it's really hard to tell what's going on in a still. The last thing I want is for someone to actually go to my Steam page and then decide not to wishlist it. So I want to give myself a chance. So all I need in order to do the trailer, my levels are fine. I just need to be able to navigate through the levels and a couple other small things, medium to small things. And then I think I'll put my link out into even more places. So that's my goal this week that I'm frantically working toward. You're kind of tanned. Avoid the sun, though. Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. I definitely decided being super tan is not my thing either, and I'd rather just be healthy and pasty, but not sunburned and cancerous. So. You gotta pick your poison. Okay, let me figure out this level's completing as soon as the wave was called, the last wave. So that one. Level end. I had it checking. The number of enemies living on the scene is greater than 0. I think this one's supposed to be pulled out further. So what I've got here is if the number of enemies living on the scene is greater than 0, that might do the trick. You're an indoor cat. And then one other thing that's just kind of annoying me right now, I'm going to take it off. I'm going to disable the should be a scene variable. Fog of War. I mostly have Fog of War working. World map. Let me actually double check something here. For world map, I do need one more thing here. If for some reason Fog of War is not enabled, it does need to be enabled for this scene. So let me check that variable. Eventually it'll just always be on, but then manipulated in different ways. So if it is not enabled, let's turn it on. Then also, yeah, let's run a quick preview. World map. We've got one level here. Okay, I realize it's pitch black, but technically the enemies are spawning, so I'm going to wait for them to finish, and then we'll see if it closes out. So this is pretty odd. Let me let that run its course, and then let me see what I broke here. Okay, that did work actually. So the level auto-completed when there were no enemies left. Now 2 more levels have opened up. So we can click into another one here, Village Southside. It's starting and then it goes black, so that's really odd. Yeah, oh yeah, so I know you talked about that. So let me see, properties. I think you go to do not, oh, probably right here, isn't it? No changes to game size. That seems like the save option. And to be honest, I thought I had that selected. No changes. Okay, cool. Let's see, why? What did I do to make it go black? It's so odd. Like, it's a brand new bug. It just popped up. Let me see here. Yeah, the frame rate dependent stuff. Trying to do more, get rid of timers and use more time delta wherever needed. So I think I have a couple of timers I do need to replace with time delta, things like that, which is 100% like you said. That's why I need to get it into the hands of testers and get the levels to where even I can play through them and test them. Right now it's really just a little bit here and a little bit there, right? So I'm not really even truly testing anything at this point. I'm really just putting it together still. But that's why this week, basically my plan is to get the levels to where you can play through them and cycle through them, even though I know like all the fun options aren't in there yet. That kind of thing. When I say fun options, I mean like the core combat still needs a little bit of juice. The tower upgrade menu is not in there yet. But you should still be able to go through, play through the waves, complete the levels, that kind of thing. This week. Okay. Yeah, I'm mostly getting the code loop done. And then adding the juice. And I found a new thing, a new sprite maker, which is a lot of fun. I streamed it a couple streams ago. But it basically it's like a particle emitter generator, but it saves your particle emission as a loopable sprite, which is what my new enemies are. Which you had mentioned you kind of favored me going back to the wispy, shadowy objects from my prototype. So I kind of brought that back, and I used this tool, Sprite Mancer. And it's been super helpful because it's really not intensive on the processing. Let me see if I can figure out where I put the file for it. There it is. Yeah, so for example, here's a death animation for one of the wisps. And it exports that out into 60 frames. Then I've got like... Here's the death animation for my fire enemy. Kind of goes upward. Yeah, like this. So pretty easy to make a lot of different enemies this way. So I made the fire one where it's kind of like it's got some heat, it's kind of rising. The cold one is, you know, it's colder, so it's heavier, so it kind of goes more downward. And I don't know why it pauses at the end here. It's probably just my graphics card, but it should just be a seamless loop. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. And so I can use that for, like, you know, bullet effects as well, not just enemies. Yeah, exactly. I really want this thing to be pretty friendly on lower end devices. I disabled almost every effect in the game at this point. Because I was even running just like 50 enemies at a time, but they had drop shadow. And that was already dropping the frames into 40 on my machine. I was like, nah, we're not going to do that. Because I imagine, realistically, tower defense, you need to be ready for anywhere from like hundreds to up to 10,000 objects on the screen at the same time. Realistically, even if you don't always have 10,000. I feel like that's like an upper ceiling that's like a reasonable expectation. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, they sure are. And I can add some effects there in Sprite Mancer too, which is why it's pretty neat. Like opacity and stuff. Alright, I'm gonna do a restart. I don't think it's gonna fix anything, but let me try. Fingers crossed. Bloons TD6, later waves after around 100 start to lag hard. Yeah, I get that too. Great game, but to be honest, it doesn't seem as... it doesn't seem as optimized as you might think it would be. In fact, I even get crashes on that game every now and then, which could just be my machine, but it's just interesting. You know, it's an extremely successful series and a really great game, so it's just interesting that, if anything, it's encouraging that even a game like that can have bugs, because we spend so much time stressing about our bugs. But it helps to have a legacy behind you. All right, let me just run this one more time to see if it's still happening. I just invented this bug where the scene turns black. Go to the world, click on the level. Like something happens there. There's a flicker. Yeah, scene, variables. I disabled Fog of War, so if I turn that back on, let me see if it's still happening then. Yeah, always a limit. Something with Fog of War. Okay, well, let me just leave it in the dim mode. And in fact, let me also get my other thing here. So, all right, let me do a check here. So custom, object select, number. Then I will also do a check for if that thing is not visible, make it visible. That should at least get us there. You're looking for a new game to start as you're now free after all your games were lost. Might try a tower defense game. Yeah, go for it, dude. Maybe you can make a game in your universe with in your Splat universe. Yeah, don't do an insane one like I did. A 2-year game. It won't take you 2 years. I spent 2.5 years learning GDevelop and learning Blender. Honestly, the core code here is not very crazy. Okay, call that and call that. So here come the enemies. Now when they all go through, I told it, go ahead and close the scene, consider it a win, and go back to the world map. So it should do that. South Park Tower Defense. I'm not sure if I played that one. Okay, that worked. Let's go move on to the next. Lava level. And I'm sorry it's so dark. I need to figure out what's going on with the darkness here. Literally dark tower defense. You don't get to see anything. I mean, it's dark tower defense, people. Get over it. What'd you expect? Pixels? Come on, hurry up. This would be a good time to have my speed it up by 3 times button. Definitely living up to its name. And of course, at the same time that bug shows up, my tower selection went away, so adding the towers in for extra light is not an option. All right, let's see if these work. So I just put random names on these. Abandoned town, village south side, village outskirts, and suburbs. That is not tied to an existing level, really. So let's see. No, that's not going to do anything for me. Let me fix this other bug. So that's working. Let me go back to this. I fixed the one where the level's complete as soon as the last wave is called. Let me fix the tower select object, because I don't know what is going on with that. All right, let me disable everything containing that object, because I originally thought I was only calling that object from within an external layout, but it was showing up in my main menu for some weird reason. So let me go everywhere where I've decided to recreate it and disable those events. So that would be here. Oh wait, no. Level setup. Right here. And here. Oh, it's down here too. Hide that. Speaking of which, I just realized I did this wrong anyways. So let's just delete that one that I did wrong. But still, so there's that, and then main menu. Yeah, nothing here at all. From within the level events, if the level variable is main menu, create the external layout called main menu. The UI, which should contain, let me double check. External layout UI. Oh, actually that does not contain it. What does contain it? Tower skill tree. No, not that one either. Will I be adding a light to the cursor? If I do a custom cursor, yeah, it'll have some sort of a light on it. The idea is not to punish the player, like to not be able to see the level. Like it's literally a little bit too dark right now. The idea is not to punish them. It's just more like to show where, because there's going to be certain effects where the light radius exists. There will be actual effects like bonuses. Like you get bonuses if you're building within a light radius, things like that. So it's not to punish the player visually. That's something I think I want to avoid. But it does need to be distinct enough. Like the contrast needs to exist enough to where you can still determine, oh, the tower's light radius ends here. And outside of that is considered darkness. It is a little bit too dark right now. For sure. And it's not like a first-person shooter where actual darkness visually is, you know, a setback. Like if it's all foggy and you just can't see, that doesn't really help in a tower defense. Your towers are going to auto-target enemies anyway, right? So that's just kind of an artificial barrier. I don't want it to be annoying. But there will be consequences and benefits to utilizing the light radius. The world map is the only place where there's true blackness. But that's pretty common for a world map, to be honest. Okay, where the heck did I originally call this thing? I'm so confused now. That's the world map. So level setup. No, it's level end. Where's level setup? Right here. Because these are right here, but I just created those. So where was I doing this before? Trees. World map color. Okay, let me try something. Let me go to the debugger, see if it exists, but it's hidden. Okay. Refresh. You see some big balance changes incoming during playtesting. Yeah, there's like zero balance. Zero balance right now. All right, this is another one of those fun exercises where I get to stare at the list of instances and try to find what I'm looking for here. I don't think there's a search function yet. Control F. No. Looking for something called Custom Tower Select or something like that. Go back up. Custom UI bars. Oh, it's right near the top. Okay, yeah, it does not exist. So maybe that's an easy fix. Let me just... I'm surprised it's not in my UI layout. Let me see here. Why is it not? Let's try that. It might suffice to just have it here. Yeah, balance is definitely gonna be tricky. Like, I don't mind. I'll be okay if like players can identify cool like synergies, because there will be some synergies with like, you know, if the debuffs on the monsters, like if the monster has the wet condition and then you shock them, they take extra damage, that kind of thing. I'm good with them finding creative solutions, but obviously if... Oh, that's not on the white layer. But obviously if like there ends up being one good way to do everything, then it gets boring. So we don't want that. Okay, let's run this again. There's also supposed to be a beacon within the level with a light on it so that you're not starting in complete blackness. And it looks like it starts off and then it disappears. So let me check. Again, you can see I've got light built into the game. And I've got 3 levels of light. So what I want most of it to be is you get some benefits from being in the bright light. Then there's going to be sort of a shaded light, which you can kind of see here in my preview. And then there's going to be the rest of the world. So I'm not trying to make it all like super pitch black. And it's not that hard to build out some towers and link them together, that kind of thing. But okay. Got my Earth Tower. I need to set my tower select And just go down. So that's going to be one. Yeah, I can't wait to get this into everyone's hands. Just realized the moon tower icon over here is not up to date because the actual moon tower is now different. I think there's a bug here too. Let me add it. I'm pretty sure it's still in there. So bug, moon tower, scale, issue, enemies reset too big. This is a funny one, which actually gave me an idea for a feature. Let's see if it does it. It's going to suck in an enemy if they get in within range. It's going to put it back at a spawn point. Then it's going to be too big. So now you've got your EF5 tornado. So I was thinking maybe do something kind of like that as like a darkness storm. Yeah, accidentally created a boss. Cool, level complete. I want to fix, so there is still a light here, I think, but there's something going on with the fog of war. Again, something got messed up with that, where I was creating a hole through the fog of war at the beacon. Something got screwed up here recently. Fog of war enables true. All right, what is this a child of? This is connected to just simply if fog of war enabled is true. It is true. Then for each beacon on the scene, if oh, I see the problem. So, I know exactly what the problem is there. Let me duplicate this. I need this to be a different object, even though it'll look the same. So this will be in level beacon. Then I need to go back to my maps and swap that out. Which I don't even actually have one here. So this is basically what it will look like the enemies are going toward. The idea is that these beacons thematically contain the light that these enemies are trying to take away. I don't remember the scale I was going for on those, but that might suffice for now. That should also have Y sort on it. Does not. Okay, let's add Y sort and remove some of that other stuff. Apply. So that one won't be super visible. Technically can move this forward a little bit. Okay, and then yeah, save that one, close it out. Let me close this out too so I don't mess it up. This level I still need to completely redo. I don't like the bones, but it's still there for testing. I'll do still a spiral, of course, but need to change it out using my other method. Put a beacon here. Close that out. That one's already got one. Let me check that one. So that's a regular beacon. In fact, I made it bigger. Here we go. Then the lava one. Actually, let me check points on this too. Origin, center, apply. What I want to check now is that I've got the things for the beacons. Thought I had some more stuff on here. Okay, yeah, create object beacon light there. And then if I go back to Fog of War, basically I just want to take this. I'm going to copy it out, but this is going to be a different beacon. Because when I started adding them to the world map, I gave it some different events. What game do I think I'll make next? Yeah, I really don't know. I was thinking I might try to stick within this universe, but I don't know exactly what I'll do. You know, I was pretty excited when I was making my sort of like Diablo 1-esque kind of action RPG. It definitely wouldn't be something that would make money, but kind of a dungeon walkthrough kind of game, like a really small. I guess it would be like a roguelite, but yeah, something like that. If I'm doing it for fun, it might be something like that, but kind of in this universe too. But really, I'm not sure. My brain kind of doesn't want to think about what's next. Okay, this really just needs to be at the start of the scene though. So let me see here. Let me collapse that, pull it up to the top. Wait, no. No, never mind. This will be every frame. Okay, get rid of these variables. Let's see how this looks. Let's see if it works. And if it works, let's see how it looks. Kind of like the invade one of the towers and you have to run the floors to defeat them. Oh, they invade. Yeah, something like that. Ugh. Okay. First of all, there's an effect on there. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, if it was something like that, then there would be like an organic tie-in to the same universe. You know, it could be like they've invaded one of the towers, like the core beacon or something like that. And you could theoretically be the same Lightkeeper person, and you're going in now and manually doing some things. Okay, let's see here. Oh, dang it. Rookie mistake. I've been doing a lot of G-Develop today. And my energy levels are good, but my mental capacity is a little bit down now. So I'm making a lot of little rookie mistakes. Alright, let's run this. Yeah, so South Park Tower Defense. Let me take a quick look at this game. South Park Tower Defense. So you said you might do something like this for your next game. Quality is pretty bad. Are you referring to this game? I know it's really poor quality on my end, but I see what they're doing. Hold on, let me go back to that. Build snow mazes. Oh, you build snow mazes to defeat your enemies. So intense 1 to 4 player co-op. Master unlockable challenge events. Build snow mazes. Unlock your favorite characters. And then special abilities too. Yeah, that looks fun. I haven't played it yet, but I should. Xbox Arcade. You attack with characters and place towers. Nice. There we go. Now we have a nice little bit of light here. I think I needed to change the animation though. So now the player will have a starting radius coming out from that. Let me change this. So that should be level setup. Let me get rid of these. Don't need these anymore. Then beacon animation by number. Let's go by name. Should be the completed animation. All right, now run that. Oh, they take it off their servers and they don't have like a downloadable version of it anymore? I hate it when they do that. There we go. Got our earth towers. They can generate some light resources for us in the meantime. Boom, finish that level. Next. The arcane towers don't miss. Generally. It was download only on Xbox 360 Arcade. I'm just pulling up GOG to see what they have for South Park. Was it literally called Tower Defense? Yeah, they don't have it on here. I don't even see the option to request it. Sometimes there's an option to request games that are not on here yet. But it's on their radar. They know that it exists and that that it's not available elsewhere. Alright, suburbs. I think that didn't have a map associated with it yet. And then village outskirts. Yeah, that didn't either. What do we have? Let me see here. Go to the world map. The external layout for the world map. So I've got A1, D1. Let me check my variables. This is where I have my definitions. So I go all the way out to D3, really. Okay. Just gonna pull this up on my other screen. Oh, emulator's the only other way. Probably so. So here's D2. That doesn't have a level. Just D1. So I guess I'm going to make a few levels right now. Because I like to have at least about this many. At least this many for a demo, if not more, but the idea is to get moving off of the original area and show that you can branch out in omnidirections and that kind of thing. So which one is my ice level? A3, A4. A4 is nothing. A3 should be cold. Let me check that that goes to the same level. Oh yeah, an incremental farming game. I know some folks who like farming games. Well, I'm thinking for this dark area out here, basically the unlit region, I think the intensity of how dark it is will depend on your actual light value down to a certain extent. So if you're super low, it's going to be visually very noticeable. But generally, it'll go up. Okay, there's that. And then this one should be cold. Good. All right, and then there's nothing after that. So all right, I guess we're making some levels. Let me minimize that. I'm gonna close stuff I don't need here. All right, some of this will be in Blender. Let me think. One thing I do have, or one thing I could do, let me make a level here. So this needs to be for, oh geez, where'd it go? For A4. I want one up here that's basically like bridging the gap between alpine forest and starting to get a little bit chilly. So visually, I might be able to use the same grassy base. I'll need to manipulate it, but I'm thinking I could possibly use the same grassy base I'll put the path into there in the way that I'm doing it now. But build on top of that, because I could then use, for example, snow trees, like some snow trees. Which I need to randomize the assets there, but give me time. So the scale, they don't all have to be so giant. In fact, they shouldn't be giant. Kind of hard to say. But basically I'm thinking put in like some snowy elements. You know, some snowy rocks. I think I've got some rocks. Along with some non-snowy trees too. I know it's not a perfect combination yet, but let's see what we can do here. And then, what rocks do we have? Rock, snow rock. And these will have Y sort on them as well. Just kind of brainstorming at the moment. So one thing I don't have exactly, well, I guess I did something kind of like that. I was going to say have the enemies come in from very different angles. For the game, like just kind of off the top of my head, I'm aiming for about 100. For the demo, I'm thinking about 8 to 10. I want 8 to 10 levels that showcase some good quality and some good variety for the demo. The world, you know, I mean, once I get rolling, making new levels is pretty easy. So the world I generated here in Wonderdraft, the world map, that is. So I could always add to this, and then I could always condense those beacons out there if I want to. And this is obviously spoiler content, but basically, like, I could add more details into this. The idea is it's just a high-level representative type of map. So it's not like to scale. It's just to show, like, basically here's a town. Here's something else, maybe a haunted larger city. There's some sort of a marshy area up in here. There's a mine over here, but not like super detailed. There's some sort of a castle, mountain castle up in here. What is that? You know, you don't really know until you actually go into the levels. But that being said, it's pretty open-ended. You know, there's some landmarks, and so I can build all around this and add as many levels as I want. So I'm just kind of off the top of my head thinking about 100 to start out with for the first commercial release. But, you know, if I want more, I can add more. Hey, thanks. Yeah, I was just trying to, I was really wrestling over like what's within my ballpark. Like what can I actually do as a non-artist that would look consistent? And I basically went with zero color, just put over the paper color. I'll be right back. Okay, back. I am back. Okay, so yeah, just looking for a rough idea here. What I might do, I actually need a slight update to all of these grassy levels. So let me take, I'm gonna need GIMP. Lots of tools. Let me see if I can find this thing. Might just actually re-download it from here. You go to Assets. or resources. I designed this one with a specific purpose in mind. Actually, I'm trying to design all of them with a slight purpose in mind. I don't want the background itself to be too high contrast and too eye-catching, because there's going to be so much stuff going on. So even with like my snow level, I know it's really bright white, but the actual base is relatively soft. It's almost painterly, even though it's not. And that's something I was hoping for, because the stuff on top of it should be higher contrast. So that's why this grass doesn't really look like grass. It just looks like randomness. So that's kind of the reason behind the madness. And so I'm kind of aiming for something like that with all of my terrain. And then if I want higher contrast stuff, it'll be like rocks and trees or interactable objects. Okay, so for this one, that stays there. Let me duplicate it. Then I need to design the path. So in Blender, I need to design a path layer. Let's go with, we can do a dirt path. So let me grab my ortho template here and save as. I'll call it dirt path. You could even call it forest path, something like that. We could have a few different things going on. Then, yeah, so this will need to actually be...
How are we feeling about this combo?
That looks fun. Do it.
Probably have to try it on, actually.
I like it.
Sing the song.
This will be, what was I doing? Actually, what is my GIMP one? Is this 1920 by 1080? Yeah, okay, I'll just match it then, I suppose. Boom, and then, yeah, let's add in, well, let me see what we have here. Probably if I take this, let's scale it on the z-axis, then only scale it on the x and y. Then find a material for it, and it should be pretty easy. Dirt! Give me dirt! Oh, I forgot to... I'll let her know that you said hi. It was indeed Riley. I think I set my stream to like a medium delay, so there's a slight delay. So, sorry about that. Let's see here. What do we want? Let me filter this first by procedural. I like procedural, and then also I thought there was a way to filter by free, but that's fine. This one seems to have some mud in it. Yeah, just a little behind. Let's try this one. Who knows? Who knows? Some of it depends on the lighting itself. So the left side here is what we're actually going to get. And it will be large on the screen, but it won't necessarily be a lot of area that's exposed. So this will be the path underneath the grass. So let's see what we can do with the lighting. I'm not in love with the lighting. And also because the enemies are so dark, part of me doesn't want the path to be super dark. So that's another reason I might change this. But let's see here. CPU not happy. You talking about my CPU? Yeah, this is in cycles. If I put it in the Eevee render engine, it'll render faster. I turn off my phone. Goes a little bit faster in Eevee, but Cycles has better quality. So it's doing like a lot of passes every time I make a change. Oh yeah, choppy webcam, you're right. Let me turn off anything I don't need. Let me close GIMP. I don't need GIMP at the moment. And let's see, is that any better? Yeah, Blender says, give me all the attention. It's even getting hot in my room. It's definitely working hard. Let me get rid of this. Let me try adding an area light. Actually, do we have a sun? Let's do a sun. Yeah, Blender's insane. It's definitely a little hard to imagine this without that grass in there. I guess I could pull it up. You know, side by side. Let me go to the shading nodes. Oops. Let me get the render window back up here. I'm thinking a smaller scale would be more appropriate. And then I want probably a lot of roughness. Don't want a lot of light bouncing off of it. Then if I bring up that window again, it seems a little bit better. Let's see, cracks detail. What do we get if I bring that way down? So they're like bigger, corrects detail goes up. That would be, yeah, I think that's even better. Let me hit the F12 button. I know the stream isn't doing too great. Let's see what we have here. Not too entirely sure about that one. I'm just not in love with it. Let me hide that one. Let's try another. In fact, let me duplicate it and then change the material. Yeah, sorry, the stream quality is so bad at the moment. Maybe once I'm done with Blender, it'll get better. Okay. Lots of settings to adjust in here, so let me see if I can get it to a point I like it. It's probably pretty close though, so I think what I'll do see, I don't like that. Don't like that at all. All right, I think what I'm going to do is call that good enough. So I'm going to export this. Let me make sure the animation is set to 1 frame instead of 250 frames. And let's do a, I turn on the render for this and export. I forgot to rename it. See, what file name is that being saved as? That will be, actually has no name. Is it just putting a number on there? Well, dang it. Let's try this one more time. I don't know why it is taking so long. Let me cancel that. This is ridiculous. Let me try the Eevee render engine, if it works. That did work. Okay, let's put this into GIMP. Let me close Blender. Close that. Okay, then put in this dirt one. Duplicate that as well, so I have a safe one. Then what I'm going to do is lock these. And then what I'm going to do is make my pads for the levels. So I know I had, let's see here, the size of the brush should be, I think, 70. And maybe a little bit bigger. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, sorry about that. Keep getting called away. So what I'm gonna do now is erase a path into this grass. Code, you said can't wait to play this for a while and chill. Thank you, thank you. All right, so if I go back to gdevelop, the level I've been making everyone stare at for many months, level 1 or whatever. If I roughly recreate that, because it doesn't really align with the rest of the graphics now. So if I go to that level, I want to try to at least get close to where the path exists, so I have to do minimal level rearranging. So again, go into it. Here's the level. Let me just add some light for myself. And yeah, I'm basically just going to be looking at this on the other screen and trying to roughly recreate that. So yeah, it doesn't have to be exact or anything. I'm just going to go here and into the woods over here. And about here, maybe just widen it a little bit. That's really it. That's the process I came up with. Pretty easy to do. Not as intensive as some of the procedurally generated stuff I was doing before. But if I'm going to crank out 100 levels, I need something that's repeatable. So yeah, and then it's just a matter of designing it to taste. So yeah, I think I'll go with that. Nothing too crazy. And really what I'm finding is as I put these levels together, this is really just the bare bones. Really all the stuff on top of it is going to draw the eye for the most part. So this doesn't need to be super mind-blowing. It just needs to not clash, I think. So the process now is to, let me save this project, and then I'm going to export. We'll call this forest path, and I'll just give it like a number. Probably give it a pretty high compression level. Let me see if I can find that now. Actually, where did it go? Let's see, this is going to... downloads? Oh, why is it going to downloads? Okay. Get rid of the preview. Let's pull in... Actually, I guess it's my path sprite. Path object. So let's get rid of this first one. Actually, let's just add it to the first one. Yeah, pretty easy to work doing that method. For sure. And then let's run a quick check on this. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to need the background at all anymore, because it's kind of baked into the level. So yeah, I mean, there we go. It's already here. Not much of a difference, to be honest, once it's in the game. But now all I need to do is, you know, I can make as many levels out of that as I want, just real quick, by painting over it with an eraser. Yeah. And it's still pretty soft to the eye, so it's easier to focus on the foreground. But it still has a bit of detail to where it's not cartoony. So something like that. That's about the extent of my art direction right now. I just need to adjust a few items here, but for the most part, the enemies will follow that general path. Cool. All right, so next, I wasn't even trying to really start with that one, but since I'm doing this, I might as well start from the ground up. Let's hide that one. Let's do another. I need to fix the spiral level, or rather update it. So for that one, I mean, it was pretty much just a big old spiral. Let's go, I think roughly from here. Let me make the brush a little bit bigger on this one, because rather than coming back in and kind of like, I don't want it to look too obviously like done by hand, but it is being done by hand. Especially in the world of AI, no one minds a little bit of handcraftedness, do they? Just want to make sure I give enough room for the towers here. Yeah, no AI sells more. I'm hoping so. Obviously, this is like one of the quote-unquote easy levels, but I think it'll work. I mean, we could go ahead and add in another path if we wanted to here. Honestly, a single entry point is pretty darn easy. You know, unless I throw a million enemies at the player, but... we could do 3 paths. The thing I'm trying to avoid is having any boring levels, especially in the demo. Maybe this is a little bit better. I'll try that, I think. Yeah, multiple paths gives more strategies. All right, let's go with that. And again, I still plan to dress set these. These are the foundation of the levels. So let's export. We'll call this number 2. All right, so we now have that one, which will definitely need some rework, but I think it's an improvement because it's got multiple paths now. So now I need not the one that was going to be a bit of a hybrid, and I did want to see if I could use GIMP to add a little bit of snow to it. I don't know how well it's gonna. I don't know how good it's gonna look, or if I need to do it in Blender. So basically taking the paint maybe this. It might need to be the airbrush. Come on, click. There we go. Hey, good evening. What's going on? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Alison, how you doing tonight? It's kind of gray. You want to learn how to make a player move in 3D? Are you using GDevelop? Yeah, and GDevelop. Okay, next question. Are you using a... Yeah, so 3D... for mobile. Honestly, I haven't done a ton with this one, but let me see here. Code, do you remember which one of these is the 3D first person that's mobile friendly? Yeah, because like obviously, are you doing a 3D platformer? If it's a platformer, even that kind of depends. Is it like an endless runner kind of platformer, like this one here? Or is it more of like just an open world platformer, like the one up top? More of like this one right here? Oh, open world? Okay. Oh, let's find out. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure for the mobile controls. I think they're already built into this, to be honest. So they're going to have this. The mobile controls are already here. So you have a joystick and a jump button. So the joystick is associated with a multi-touch identifier. And then there's a jump button as well. I'm assuming, yeah, that's just literally a button with a button behavior. So Let's see what events they have here. Are you using a template like this that already has these things built in? I recommend using a template if you're not familiar with it. That way you can learn how they've incorporated these things. Because what you're going to need is the Sprite multi-touch joystick extension right here. So if you don't have this, you'll need that. So let me know if you have this in your game already. You tried to change the player to another one and it doesn't walk too well. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that could be a lot of things. Probably the best, because like it could be a matter of maybe some of your events didn't get updated. So definitely double check that the new player object is accurately named. So if your events say player, make sure that the new object is still called player, or update your events. Yeah, first person or third person will matter as well. Third person. So kind of like this then. Right. I mean, yeah, if first person, no need to change the player. If it's third person, you'll definitely notice. And if you did change the player, like I said, it could be a lot of things that are causing the bug, but are you using a... You know, it comes down to the model that you're using as well. It might be most beneficial if you hop into the Discord so you can share what you're working on. Let me add Discord to the chat here, because we really need to see what you're working with to really help you answer that question. It's from the marketplace. See if this will go through. And in the Discord, there's a general chat you can use to share your screenshots, and we can try to work through it. In the meantime, just trying to get a little snow up in here. It's too big. Okay, yeah, no worries at all. Once you're home and once you're able to get into Discord, definitely share your player object. So go into the player object. Let us see what you're working with here. And then also show us your scene events as well for your player and your controls. That way we can really walk through it. You think it's a hitbox issue? All right, so I think this will work for some snow. Yeah, exactly. That's why we'll need to see the character, the player object, so we can see all of these, all of this information here. The origin point could be throwing off the hitbox. I'm never super happy when I need to do art by hand, but this is why I'm considering still doing this in Blender. But as a rough concept, what I'm thinking is put a little bit of snow on these levels as like a, you're getting near the frozen mountains. Kind of a sneak peek. When you move in one direction, it moves in another direction. When you move to the right, he moves forward. Tell you what, I'm pretty bad at doing this, so I'm going to abandon that approach. Let me see something here. Let me try. Filters, noise, HSV, noise. Eight. One. Then we get different seeds. And then you need to go to colors. I'm going to set this one at 23. Clamp the input at 0.46 and then 59. Then yeah, that's not fantastic. What do we have here? Something like this. Set the layer mode to screen so that the image can show through where the black areas are. Okay, and then actually, I think I might know. Let me try colors. Color to alpha, the black color. Whoa. Okay, yeah, let's undo that. Now let me try locking the alpha channel on this part of it. And that part of it. I wonder why it's getting these really bizarre lines. Just curious what this is. A random filter that says fill it with lava, but it didn't do that. Oh, that's why there's a thing over here. Okay, you're saying might be something simple like the XYZ directions are changed in the new model. Could just do what you tried originally but have an opacity. Oh, now you're talking about this. Could just do what you tried originally but have an opacity so it layers nicely. Yeah, I could do that too. Riley Parker, how you doing this evening? Hope you're hanging in there. Yeah, I could paint it on here with a little bit of transparency to make it less crazy standout-ish. Yeah, just a bit under the weather. Obviously, I'm not loving this. Anytime I'm doing handcrafted art, I'm out of my comfort zone. So I'll honestly probably find a different way to do this again. I think in Blender, but I can at least get the level put in though. The goal is to get the levels put in tonight. So let me do that. Yeah, I've got the snow on like its own layer, so yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. And I think this is a new level. So let's see, what do we have? We've got coming in from the left and from the bottom. Then we've got a spiral. And this is still kind of a path through the woods. So why don't we do... We've got entry from over here, entry from here. What if we do roughly... Hold on. Oh, it's locked. Obviously how little I'm talking. I'm like sweating bullets here trying to make it work. But yeah. Also, I'm thinking some of the level types, like some of the more icy levels, I think I want them to look a little more fractal. So some sharper edges on the pathing. So I was thinking kind of a dirt path through the woods could be pretty curvy. So it's kind of a motif I'm kind of going with. So, you know, it's not like a hard and fast rule, just a little bit of a motif for these types of levels. And some of the levels are much more hybrid. In fact, this one's a little bit of a hybrid too. Between kind of a temperate zone versus a cold zone. I think that will suffice. I think I will go with it. Then yeah, for the snow. Yeah, I could definitely give the grass a colder hue. It's actually not a bad idea. I could do that here real quick. It's a good idea. Let me do a split view. The right side is the original. Almost like it needs more of a desaturation, maybe a more desaturated hue. Definitely colder. I know what you mean. Let me see if I can find, maybe it's not that. Hue and chroma. Split view. Almost more like this. And then make it colder too. What do we think? I'll have to figure out the, I'll have to figure out the snow. I'm just not sure I'm going to make it look good doing it by hand. It's not my cup of tea. I do like your suggestion of using this layer. To show the snow building up. see, which one is it? Could do the same with trees and rocks, change the hue. Yeah, some of those I could definitely do an engine as well. For sure. For right now, let me just go ahead and move forward with this. Get this into the game. You know, and I certainly have the other option too. The path is not finalized either, so I could technically come in here and like put snow on the path. Which tool did I have for this? That was... Yeah, the only thing about snow falling is I could do that. But then I think it would need to be in front of, you know, the towers and everything too. If I did that, it'd be more like with probably either noise or particles in the engine, I think. So let me think on this. But for now, I'll go ahead and put this path into the game so I can at least build around it. Do I have... Oh, it's already open. I was like, why is it not showing up? Here we go. All right, I think I need to start naming these according to their actual level. So A1, A2, I think. Let me check. So D1 is the lava. I mean, it might not stay here. So D1, D3. I think it was A4. A2 is the spiral. A3. Actually, I think it's A3. Yeah, dude, definitely get some more sleep. I'm glad you're home safe. I'm glad you made it home, and thanks for hopping on the stream. I'm gonna be hopping off here myself before too long, anyways. But yeah, we'll be catching up throughout the week. So definitely thanks for hanging out, man. Good to talk to you again. All right, so A3 is where I want to put this thing. Let me add an animation. In fact, let me get rid of, let me preview this thing. I'm going to get rid of that one for now. Let me do A3. And I'm going to bring in the one I just made. Come on, come on. There we go. Although, why is this one called A3? I think that one should be more like A4. I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's do A4. And no base layer. Instead, we want the path. Put that at 0, 0. And let's put that at a really low Z order. And animation number, let's see, 2. So we'll do something like this. You know, rocks and stuff create like an organic pathway as well. I'm not saying I'll keep these exact sprites, you know, find something that looks good, but oops. Basically just putting stuff wherever I don't want the player to be able to build their towers. Be a little bit mean to them. Yeah, thanks, Code. I'm sure she will be feeling better soon, but definitely appreciate the sentiment. Talk to you soon. Have a good night. All these trees are going to be a little bit randomized when the level begins as well. Okay, so what I would need from here is I need the end point. Let's drag that out here. I need the beacon that goes right on it. Then I need I could put some bones out here, I suppose. What else do I? Okay, now I need the enemy barriers. It's always one of the more annoying things to do here, but gotta do it. Just my little method of corralling them along the pathway using the pathfinding behavior. I've considered using just move from point to point to point. I feel like this gives them just a little more of a slightly more organic path forward. Definitely not perfect. And probably slightly more intensive for processing too, but I think it looks a little bit better. Plus the enemies can be different sizes. That won't matter too much because they're all being stuck using this sticker behavior to an actual pathfinding object, which is a fixed size. So that's the thing that's actually navigating. Technically the enemy sprites are just stuck on top of that transparent pathfinder. Okay, so there's that, and then let me add these in over here. Almost done here actually with this level. So hopefully they can fit through all of that. Then I'm going to, in fact, let me get rid of this one and just drag that down. I need to add these spawners in. And even though they're coming from just two origin areas, I'm going to actually add multiple spawners in each one. Slightly out of the scene so they don't seem to pop into existence. Okay, so we've got spawner points, we've got an endpoint plus the beacon, we've got, I think, everything except for the tower barriers. So let me get everything else working, and then I'll come back in and add those. So that is level A4. Let me go to the external layout. That's named appropriately. The path, that's actually A4. This is now A3. A1, 2, 3, 4. Apply. So now Go back to the world map. A4 is this one up here. I think I actually want them dragged this way. So let's see. It doesn't matter too much. Let's do it like this. Hit save. All right, what I'm going to do is preview. World map. Go into that level. Let's summon the 3 waves. Kill them all off. Go to the next level, which is the spiral one, which actually needs some updates. Okay, done. Let's go to this one. Okay, we got a problem here. Let's see. That is not scaled properly, and also why... Still adding a background, so we don't need that anymore. We're doing a different thing now, so let me get rid of that. I think that was in level setup. Let me go to the setup. Yeah, we don't need to create that anymore. Oh. There we go. I think it's because I changed it. I think I dragged it around, so that... Okay, here we go. It was because I rearranged the order of the animations for the path object. Easy fix. One, two, three. Kill them all off, whatever. Finish the level. Go to the next. One, two, three. Easy win. Dang it, it did it again. Why is it? Okay, whatever. Let me just finish this level, even though it's going to be weird looking. And then go to the one that I just made. Then I'll see if I can fix the size issue here. Huh, okay. What the heck? So, this one has the wrong... This needs to be animation 3. But why did this one change? All right, let me save. I'm going to back out, come back in, just to be safe. It's on the base layer. I'm not sure what could be telling it to change size. But we're going to find out. Okay, this one looks good. Okay, we fixed the sizing issue at least. Cool. Then, of course, the lava one. Which, of course, I've got to use flame totems for testing. Okay, and then I don't think we have anything for these maps. So, I'll need to put those in probably tomorrow. But I'm going to call it a night. So everyone who's been hanging out, thanks so much for hanging out. Hope you had a great weekend and you're ready for the week. This game is now on Steam. So if you're interested, go Wishlist. Always helps out the algorithm. And yeah, so whatever it is you're working on, feel free to join the Discord. We help each other out in there. And I certainly hope that you have fewer bugs than I do. So until next time, thanks for watching and catch you later.